Hello, this is Aaron Higgins, aka Fortune. This is my channel, Fortune from Within. Um, Today I'm going to talk about tarot and mysticism, esoteric knowledge. This is all off the top of my head. I have a general idea of what I'm going to say, but nothing's written down or anything, so just going to start with tarot itself is a deck of cards similar to a playing card deck. It's divided into three decks, basically. We have the major arcana, which major arcana is knowledge or mystery, and then the minor arcana, so major knowledge, minor knowledge, and then the court cards, which are basically the kings, queens, pages, and knights, or princesses and princes. So, similar to a regular playing card deck, there's four suits. Swords would be spades, clubs would be staves or wands in the tarot. The cups would be hearts, and diamonds or coins. So, similar to that, people sometimes use playing card decks to read tarot, except the major difference is the major arcana. It's 22 cards that fit to the 22 Hebrew letters of the alphabet, depicting essential life archetypes of the hero's journey. Now, it fits with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Tarot is Torah spelled backwards. There's a lot of Kabbalistic knowledge encoded into the tarot. Now, whether this was intentional or not, it was around the 1400s, 1450, that tarot emerged. And it emerged in a place in Italy where some say, through historical knowledge, Jewish mysticism was being prosecuted by the church. So people studying Kabbalah created a way to study without having blatant, it's like a hidden way to study their mysticism. Now, if this is true or not, who knows? It basically, the cards came out around the same time as paper, but only the rich and the noble and the court actually had these cards. So a lot of the cards are based off of these families, rich families. So the oldest 78 card deck is the Visconti Sforza deck, and it's 78 cards, and to this day it pretty much holds true as a regular tarot deck. Now, some of the decks found had more than 78 cards, so no one really knows the intention of how many, but eventually it got settled as 78, and I'll do a video on the history, a little more in depth, the history. Anyway, tarot is one of the main studies of many secret societies. Tarot, astrology, Kabbalah, the Masons, Order of the Golden Dawn, OTO. These are all studies in which they are occulted sciences. Now, occult means hidden, doesn't mean evil. The study of these holds many secrets of esoteric knowledge. Now, esoteric knowledge is very simple to understand. It's not complex. Anyone can grasp this knowledge. And this knowledge gives you power. Power with yourself, to where mind control and manipulation will no longer work for you. They won't work on you. This is a way to empower the person and to teach the laws of reality. Now, this is why it's hidden, because if everyone had this wisdom of self, then it would equal the playing field. It would level the playing field. So, by holding this and occulting it, there are people who believe they're superior, who can actually have an advantage over most people because they understand how consciousness works. Now, these people are magicians. Magicians is those who work with symbols and those who work with sounds and symbols and sigils in order to influence conscious change. So they can influence a change in consciousness using these techniques. Now, this is very simple. The artists, the poets, they're also magicians. They paint pictures and use symbols in order for you, an observer, to come in, look at their painting or art piece, and it influences a shift in consciousness. It translates a message to you to actually shift your way of thinking towards a certain idea that they have. This is used all the time in the advertising agency. They use symbols, colors, songs, jingles to influence your conscious mind in order to persuade you into believing what they believe or buying their products, worshiping their idols, devouring their science, watching their movies, listening to their music. It's all art and symbols and magic that actually influences the way you think. It puts ideas in your head in which you believe you came up with the ideas. Now, there's artists or magicians who are more broken away from the mainstream, who use art to elevate consciousness towards freedom and sovereignty. So by being influenced, by knowing this knowledge, you're less likely to be influenced by their magic. It doesn't work as well. So mage, the magician is a mage. It's those who work with the imagination, the image, mage. So those who work with the image are magicians. Now they are, there's also sigils, and which are letters. So the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and one of the older symbols and sigils. So words are a combination of sigils in order to translate an idea from person to person. Literally, words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. And the grammar is an ancient, very similar to grimoire, which is a spell book. So these are ways of influencing consciousness. And the advertising agency spends billions of dollars on what influences your subconscious mind. They know this. This is ancient science. They know exactly how to influence consciousness, and they have an intention of doing it to persuade you into doing something blindly, not to transition your consciousness into a higher form of thought in which you free yourself. So by occulting all this knowledge and wisdom, there's few who have power, and the many have less power. So one of the main things tarot teaches you is, one, God is a woman. Everything is birthed from the womb of creation. Everyone starts as a woman in the womb and becomes a man. A woman comes first. The 0, which is the circle, that's the divine feminine. And the 1, straight line, divine masculine. Now, by knowing God as a woman, the source of all creation is unknowable, unnameable, genderless. It's just pure. Now, there's steps that teach you, but the first thing, the knowable God, is the goddess, Mother Nature, the great woman who controls everything, is definitely a feminine force. So they know this, and they suppress women. They suppress the mother, the divine mother, which is care, compassion, and balance and harmony. Another thing that they hide from us is the fact that good and evil exist. In the material world, there's always polarity. there's always acidic and alkaline. Always. Inescapable. There's always negative and positive electromagnetism. These are unescapable. Everything has gender. Everything's masculine or feminine, even rocks. Now, they want us to escape this. So this is surrogating spiritual knowledge, whereas the soul is genderless. The soul is connected to the source of all. The only way to escape the polarity and duality is within. You can't escape it externally. You could try, but you won't. It's forever there. So good and evil do exist. They have always existed. God and devil is one letter away from good and evil. So, if we knew that good and evil exist, natural law or the law of karma, do unto others, it's a law, just like there's laws of physics that govern all material reality, there's laws that govern our actions. So if we knew this, if we knew that there's good and evil, and basically the only two things you should never do or that will come back to harm is theft, which is stealing property from someone. Property, proper means right, that's a right to own something, and like your body, you own that. Now ownership in a governmentless reality would be only what you can physically protect. So, theft, that is completely against natural law, stealing. It's not right. But more importantly is assault, attacking someone with no cause, physical violence of any cause. These are the only two things. If someone else wants to go smoke marijuana and do that, it's nobody's right to take that away from them at all. It's no one's right. As long as it's not harming another person, they have every right to take that action. But by convincing us that there are no moral laws, that everything in the entire creation is random chaos, nothing makes sense, there's no laws governing your behavior, so you can harm someone with absolutely no reason and get away with it as long as another man doesn't see. They've laid down the groundwork for man's law reigning supreme. A whole platform of systematic control where they've repetitiously indoctrinated us to believe that without them, it would be random chaos and people would be killing each other. Well, guess what? It's the complete other way around. We have them there in their systems of power, convinced the masses that we need them. We absolutely need them or it'd be random chaos. But really, they've convinced us that if someone gives you permission to go kill innocent people, order followers, that it's okay. Oh, they said it's okay. That's never okay. It's against natural law. All the karma will fall on the order follower, not on the person who gave the order. So that by their knowledge of natural law, just like in the actual Torah, it says, thou shalt not murder, not thou shalt not kill, because you can harm nobody unless in self-defense. Then you have every right to stop your attacker, even if that means your attacker has to be killed. That's it. But murder, killing with no cause, no self-defense, is not a right, and it will never be a right. By knowing just these simple things about law, that would free us all from their enslaved system. If we were taught from a very young age about morality, you can even watch children playing, I've seen it myself, where as you grow, your job as a person is to increase your consciousness, raise your consciousness, meaning raise your ability to know how things work and then teach it to others. So I saw two younger kids playing. They were siblings, and one of them, this is innocence not knowing before they're actually taught. One of them accidentally hits the other one or maybe it's purposely, it doesn't matter. The older daughter comes over, the older sister comes over and teaches the younger one that that's not okay to assault your brother. It's never okay. That's just a natural thing, and we're at some point it's been indoctrinated into us to stop this. So when we see something that's against moral law or against natural law, we have to use our divine masculine, which is action, to go over there and stop it. And if we don't do that, well, then we're going to end up in chaos. So at some point, we've been taught and tricked into not standing up and teaching this. Even though kids will do it, they'll teach you, they'll teach each other. And from a very young age, if everyone was taught this, we wouldn't need man's law, because we'd know. Now, karma is very real. If you don't believe in karma, it doesn't matter, because truth is truth. Truth will always exist, whether you believe it or not. Truth will never, ever demand you believe it first. A lot of New Age religion believers say you must see it, you must believe it first in order to see it. Now, that's not truth, that's blind faith. Truth would never, ever demand that from you. So you know that is a lie if someone's saying this stuff. Never believe anything unless verified with personal experience. Now, so our actions, our whole lives, we should be aligning our perception with reality. Reality is objective, it's not subjective. What is real is real, and it will always be real whether you believe it or not. So you must align yourself to think of reality as a straight line. And this is your vibration, a wave on that straight line. Now your job is to raise your consciousness and frequency more and more until your actions and perceptions are as aligned with that objective reality as possible. That's your whole goal, and then teach it to others. Now this law I'm teaching you, very simple. What the system has done is made law, banking, trade, everything you can imagine, science, into something so complex that you get to a certain point and you give up and you say, well, that's too complex, I'll leave it to the professionals. Even with science, I call it scientism. It's all theory and religious theory. They've completely got rid of repeatable, testable experimentation with conclusive results. Now they can just tell you something as a theory and it's accepted as reality with no proof. So, yeah, by aligning yourself with this and understanding that these complexities are there to confuse you, you give your power over to someone who's smarter than you, the law professionals. They use legalese, which is such a complex language that the average person has to step back and they know nothing. And then they use this language and take all your rights away. So, by learning all of this knowledge, it gives power back. And it's an infinite study. Tarot is a book. And it's a book of wisdom and ancient knowledge of masculine and feminine. So if we were ruled by the Divine Mother, which is natural law, the law of karma, Lady Justice, she's the Justice card in the Tarot. Tarot is very similar to the Tibetans' name for the goddess, which is Tara. And it can be traced back many different cultures. Tara basically means truth. They used to soften their T's, so it'd be Taruth. And Tarot is similar to Torah, which is the book of law. So this is all ancient mysticism and knowledge. The divine feminine rules morality, do unto others. And that's the circle where we're guided by the internal compass. Now, if we go to masculine, the straight line, That is an external world where we don't have an internal ruler, an internal compass. We have an external ruler where men rule. Now, if you look at the Masonic sigil, it's a square and compass. The square is the straight line, and the compass is the circle. Now, this is used to create sacred geometry, the circle and the straight line. But it's also the internal female moral compass, which is do unto others natural law, or the masculine ruler. It's a compass and ruler. Now, we have rulers if we're a masculine society. You can see it in our architecture. Everything's square, labels and boxes. Labels and boxes, that's it. You drive your box with a label on it to your work, which is a box with a label. Wear your name tag, box with a label. And you go into the packing room where everything's put into boxes with labels. That's masculine. Feminine is the circle. You look at ancient architecture, it's balance. It's the left hand is feminine. Most people who are left-handed are actually ambidextrous. They use both because it's balance. Now, you see that in ancient architecture. They added the circle. Everything's beautiful. Instead of the right hand, which at a very young age, you weren't just born right-handed. You chose your masculine mind, which is you've done something with your right hand, and it ends up being faster. So you've been like, okay, well, it's faster to just use my right hand to get it done. Get to the destination. Well, the female brain, left-handed, they decide to use both. Strengthen both. May take more time, but it's balance. Well, I do want to sum this up because I can go on forever. This is my first video just talking about knowledge that I have and just outside normal tarot readings and astrology readings. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. Appreciate all of you. May Jupiter shine much fortune upon you, and may you find your fortune from within. Thank you.